I'm in a bar which George Best used to own in Hermosa Beach, which is by the beach, strangely enough. It's about an hour's drive from downtown Los Angeles. It was a bit of a dive in the day, but he used to be in here all the time. He owned it. He used to sit in this seat. I'm not sure what he used to drink. And even though the name of the bar has now changed from Besties to the Underground, it's still really popular with English football fans. It was packed during the World Cup, and there's quite a lot of Manchester United and George Best memorabilia on the wall in the bar. They've had quite a few visitors while United have been on tour here, and I know some other fans are coming down later on to see it. And there's some pretty decent, interesting pictures about. I'd like to see a bit more about the stage in his life when he was here, because apparently he really enjoyed being anonymous here. So in Europe it was Beatlemania as far as Best was concerned, and here he just used to walk down the boulevard with a pair of shorts on, with a pair of trainers on, and apparently was very happy when he lived here. Following United, the best moments?
Oh, the Champions League victory.
Moscow 2008?
Moscow 2008, yeah.
8-2 against Arsenal.
8-2 against Arsenal.
How do you think United will do this season?
We believe in Jose Mourinho, and I like the team.
We'll win the treble.
I'm expecting a title win this year. We'll see how it goes.
Went to saw United on tour in 1982 in Seattle. Had the privilege of meeting George, 94, a few times in his former bar. It's now called the Underground. It was Besties. Told us some great stories. 94 World Cup year, and he had some great news. Well, news. We came back. He played a game in Seattle. Not Seattle. Excuse me. San Jose. He came back to the bar afterwards, and Bobby, the owner, said, "Oh, George has got something for you back in his hotel." So I went back with McMurdoch, his manager, and he gave me the shirt that he wore that night in it was an anniversary game that he played up in San Jose in 1994.
Why do you think he liked Hermosa Beach so much?
I think, well, he first came here and he was playing with the Aztecs with Bobby McAlinden, who was the owner of the bar. And he could just get away from everything. He was by the beach, beautiful girls, and nobody pestered him. You know, he had buddies around the beach, but they just knew him as George from the bar and that, and they'd have a drink with him, be social. His favourite drink was a white wine spritzer. He'd sit at the bar and they just put the top of his beer up, or top his spritzer up, every night that he was in there.
I remember, oh my gosh, meeting George Best when I was 7 years old at Besties. Well, now Underground in Hermosa Beach, but it was Besties. And sitting with him at the bar, talking, he was quizzing me on how much United history I knew, playing with pool with his son, Callum, and it was great. I actually remember it like it was yesterday.
And how did you know George Best?
From my dad,
right.
Keith Wales, who's
He's friends with him.
Oh, friends with him, and one of the biggest United supporters. I mean, I grew up naming off players instead of my ABCs, so.
So you've always been a United fan?
Oh yeah.
You've been to Manchester?
Brought home from the hospital. Yes, I have been to Manchester.
Yeah?
Been to a few games in England and out here when they've been on tour. So.
What did your friends think of you at school when you talked about English football?
No one understood. Like, I would wear my shirts to school and no one would understand, and but yeah, at home I'd have my Barbies, and then I have Manchester United and team player posters.
Who would your favourite players be?
Oh my gosh, back then it was, well, Eric Cantona for sure. Ryan Giggs. I've loved Ryan Giggs since I was itty bitty.
Have you ever met him?
I have actually.
Manchester United have finally won a game, beat AC Milan on penalties, 9-8, which if I'm not mistaken was the score between United and Milan when they played a pre-season game in New York about 2004. There were 26 penalties attempted tonight. So the game finished 1-1. It was better than the previous two games. There was more of an atmosphere. Milan were a better quality opponents. I was very encouraged by Alexis Sanchez. I think he's looking sharp. I thought that Andreas Pereira, again, was probably one of the best 2 or 3 players on the pitch. Oluwanda Herrera won man of the match, and it was better. It was better than the 2 very poor games that we've seen so far. I think Axel Chuanzebe can be pleased. I think it was really enjoyable watching the penalty shootout at the end, because the pre-season has been so flat so far, and it couldn't carry on like this, especially as United are playing against Liverpool and then against Real Madrid in Ann Arbor and then in Miami. The stadium wasn't full. The crowd was given us 21,000, the stadium holds 27,000, so there's definitely an issue with tickets this year on the American tour, and there are many reasons for that. Post World Cup, ticket prices are actually much lower than they were a year ago, so maybe the organisers were anticipating that. I don't think the competition has been marketed maybe as well as it could have been, and maybe once in every 3 or 4 years it's just a flat year in America until demand can build up again. People are not stupid. They knew that teams would not be coming out with the strongest squads, and Jose Mourinho's been banging that drum, so that's hardly going to help ticket sales. And there are other factors. There's a heat wave around the world. I'm reading stories about how hot it is in England while I'm over in America, but it's very hot here as well in California. So I'm going to stay in Los Angeles. I'm going to go to the LA Derby, El Tráfico, on Thursday night, and then I'm going to go to Detroit for the game against Liverpool in Ann Arbor at the weekend. I'll be bringing you another video diary from there. But it was better tonight. Jose Mourinho started with his strongest team, and there were a lot of encouraging signs. There were some lovely interplays, especially between Mata and Alexis, or Andreas Pereira and Alexis. Pereira was playing in a defensive midfield role, which is not the role that he prefers to play, but he is versatile, and he has done very well in pre-seasons before, and I know he wants to stay here. So I'm going to go down to the mix zone now, and I'm going to try and speak to him. Until next time, goodbye.